Hello guys and welcome back to Accident Gamers. This is Senkai and it's been a while since I did my impressions on Shenmue 1. But yeah, a few weeks ago I actually finished Shenmue 2 and since then I've been thinking about the game every day. It was a really memorable game for me and today I'm here to talk about that game, so let's get to it. Shenmue 2 starts with you arriving in Hong Kong. A minor spoiler from the first game, which I also said in my last impressions video, was that at the end of Shenmue 1 you are getting a job and earning money, and that's for getting a ticket to Hong Kong. So you go there and as soon as you arrive you feel the controls are the exact same as they were in the first game. Everything feels perfect and you know exactly how to play the game, how to approach the game, and talk to people and go around explore the area. One thing that's new is that the place you arrive at in Shenmue 2 is like 10 times bigger than the village you were in Shenmue 1. So instead of going around and talk to everybody, you focus more on going around the whole town, exploring it and getting to learn the city instead of getting to learn the people there. But of course there are a lot of great characters in Shenmue 2 as well. There are about 10 to 15 characters in Shenmue 2 that are really good and a lot more colorful and have more personality than the guys in Shenmue 1. But the feels you get for the characters and the dialogue that you have with them are more in the cutscenes in Shenmue 2 instead of talking to them yourself. In Shenmue 1 it was a bit more RPG because there you went around and talked to all the peoples every day. You woke up and you went down to town and talked to everybody. But in Shenmue 2 there's a lot more cutscenes and a lot more quick time events as well. For me that doesn't bother me. I like quick time events, but some people says that's a negative, but yeah, what can you do? I had so much fun with Shenmue 2, so I really don't care. But another thing with the cutscenes is that they are a lot more dynamic. Just like I said in our first video here in Accident Gamers, the Skies of Arcadia video, we said that the cutscenes in Skies of Arcadia are very dynamic with really cool camera angles, and they're doing a very good job making the cutscenes look like an anime. And the same thing goes for Shenmue 2. In here you have cutscenes that look very different from the first game. The only cutscenes in the first game that were just as dynamic as the ones in Shenmue 2 were the quick time events because they were made in-game graphics. But in Shenmue 2 you have some really cinematic stuff going around and I really enjoy that actually. The music in Shenmue 2 is really good as well. Just like in the first game, I think the music is there to create a great atmosphere rather than being very memorable. But in Shenmue 2, since it's this huge city, you have all these shops you can go to. There's a pizzeria and yeah, a lot of other places. And in there you have very memorable music though. So that was actually really cool. But there are some really outstanding tracks which plays at yeah, when you start the game and obviously in the credits and so on. So Shenmue really left me with some music that I still listen to this date, and yeah, I will continue to listen to those tracks because they really mean a lot to me now. The battle system is the same in Shenmue 2 as it was in the first game. It feels just as good, but it's only improved with more techniques and yeah, just like in a fighting game where you see the step from, say, Virtua Fighter 2 to Virtua Fighter 3, you have new moves and the characters are updated, but you still enjoy it just as much, so it's the same thing in Shenmue. If you did enjoy the combat in Shenmue 1, you would really enjoy the combat in Shenmue 2. Everything that you liked is still there, it's just more stuff, so that's great. But not only do you have new moves, but there are obviously new enemies and new bosses as well, and they have new moves, of course, too. So what makes the combat so great is that every time you meet someone new in Shenmue, you have to learn their moves and a way to counter them and defeat them. So I think that's what makes the battle system so fresh and fun to play. I also want to cover the two versions that exists for Shenmue 2. I played the game on the original Xbox because there aren't very much differences between the versions, but this game has English dub and the Japanese dub is obviously better. But since I played the game so shortly after each other, I really wanted to hear Ryo's voice actor more. Also, Shenmue II was never released on Dreamcast in North America, so if you're going to play the game in English, you have to use a boot disc to get the PAL version of Shenmue II to run on your North American Dreamcast. But the PAL version of Shenmue II is pretty cool though, because it have Japanese voices and English text. And fans have actually made the same thing with Shenmue 1. By modding the game, they have added Japanese voices and keeps the English subtitles. So if you want to, you can actually play both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 with Japanese voice that's supposed to be, and I really want to do that. So I will definitely go back and play through both games. And another difference with the Dreamcast version is that all the items and all the money you earn in the first game carries over as long as you play the same version. Like, if you played PAL version of Shenmue 1, it will work in PAL version of Shenmue 2. And same goes for the Japanese. But since the game was never released in North America, if you have a Shenmue 1 save from the US, there's nothing you can do with it, so that's too bad. But yeah, Shenmue 2 was a really memorable game for me, and I really want to play through Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 again on the Dreamcast just to carry over the stuff, but also to do all the side quests, because I think there are still some content there for me to see that I didn't get the first playthrough around. So yeah, that's going to be amazing to replay these great games, because both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 are really special for me now, and I can't believe that some people have waited for more than 10 years on a Shenmue 3 and never got it. I haven't even waited for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm really starting to feel the need to play more Shenmue, so I will replay the first game, and just as I said, to get the most out of the games that I can, because that's the only thing I can do. Ryo Hazuki is a playable character in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing though, and also the sequel to the game on PC. Ryo is there as well, but he isn't in the game on consoles, which is sad. But yeah, that's it for Shenmue this time. I really hope I get to talk about Shenmue again sometime soon, with hopefully news coming for a HD remaster, or yeah, if ever Shenmue 3 gets released. I really hope so, but we'll see about that. Mario is actually playing through Shenmue 1 now, and he's enjoying it quite a bit, so maybe we'll talk about the story as a whole, with a lot more spoilers than in my impressions videos, from Shenmue 1 to Shenmue 2, both me and Mario when he's finished with the games. That could be really cool. But yeah, Shenmue 2 is such a great game. A lot of more cool characters in Shenmue 2 than in the first game, and to see the story go on, and yeah, being so much longer than the first game, I really had a great time playing through Shenmue 2, so you should too, definitely. If you do not have a Dreamcast, pick one up to play Shenmue 1. If you have a Dreamcast, a North American one and Shenmue 1, and do not have the ability to play Shenmue 2 because it was only released in PAL regions, play the second game on Xbox because it worked really great, and it was fun to hear the voice actors from the first game here as well. So really, do not avoid this version. It was pretty cool, and even though I guess the game is better on Dreamcast, this worked perfectly fine. So make sure you play Shenmue 1 and 2, and until next time, get gaming.